let me take a time and say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Let me say good morning also to those of you viewing GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20, good morning. What about those of you via social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels, GBN's webpage? Good morning to you and welcome. It's to the point today, it's Wednesday, and let me get a quick look at the date. What's the date today? I almost forgot the date. Actually, it's the 9th day of October 2024. I'm your host, GT. To the point this morning, you know, it's Government Wednesdays here on the To the Point this morning. And representing this morning on the program, of course, we have the representative from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs. She's Miss Deanna Isaac. She's a public relations officer, and she's with us this morning via our Zoom platform. Let's say good morning to Miss Isaac. Miss Isaac, good morning and welcome. How are you this morning?
Good morning to you, GT, and good morning to the viewers and listeners of To The Point. I'm doing pretty fine, thank you. And thank you for giving us this opportunity today.
You're much welcomed. How was Carriacou? How is things in Carriacou? Off the ball. From your personal perspective, how is things in Carriacou? We know Hurricane Beryl has passed. We know it's not 100%, I would say that. But how is things in Carriacou in general, from your perspective?
While I'm not here to give my personal perspective, I would like to say that things in Carriacou are slowly getting back to pre-burial stages.
All right.
We are right now in the recovery stage because with disaster, you know, there are various stages. We were in the relief stage and now we are in the recovery stage where we are seeing people rebuilding their roofs and taking quite a bit of construction is going on, but as you know, that the process for recovery will take some time. But persons have started to replace their roofs, persons who have sustained what is termed in disaster management level 1 and level 2 damage.
All right, great. Nice to hear that. Now, we're talking post-Hurricane Beryl. Let's hear from you this morning and from the Ministry of Carriacou Affairs. How are the folks coping in terms of, you know, the assistance that was offered? We know we have gone from relief to recovery. Let us hear how your ministry are actually dealing, especially with individuals who will probably still need that assistance some way or the other. How is the ministry dealing with that?
Okay.
And once again, folks, that's we coming live from Sister Wild of Carriacou this morning. Of course, that's the
Petite Martinique.
Okay, we lost you. Ms. Isaac, we lost you there for a little bit. If you were, of course, may want to start back from the initial stages where you was started to say. Sure.
So let us go back to the morning after July 1st, 2024. When Hurricane Beryl hit Carriacou and Petite Martinique and caused such a massive destruction. So from the 2nd of July, our Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, the Honorable Tevin Andrews, and our Permanent Secretary, Javon Williams, along with the staff of NADMA and a team of volunteers, were out in the various communities ensuring that the roadways were cleared. So from the time Beryl hit the morning after, the ministry was activated. In terms of assisting with the clearing of the roads, a team was put together from the Public Works Division that is led by Shem Kwamina, and they started to ensure that people can have some sort of movement on the island. And I must say that Mr. Kwamina and his team is still out there clearing not just the main roads, because most of the main roads on Carriacou and Petite Martinique have been cleared, but they're going into the byways and clearing all the access roads to the farmlands and things like that. So from after Beryl, the 2nd of July, the ministry was activated. While all staff members were not out, the main people that were meant to be, that had to be out, were out there getting the work done. So following that, we had a number of volunteer organizations and NGOs coming into Carriacou and Petite Martinique. I cannot list them all here today, but on behalf of the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, we want to say thank you to all the volunteer organizations, persons that came from Grenada, the region, and internationally, and worked with us post-Hurricane Beryl. So we've seen that we've got a lot of donations coming in from the diaspora and from the region. At this point, I would like to say a special thank you to the Guyanese Defense Force. They have been on the ground with us or after about 2 weeks after Hurricane Beryl, and they're still here in Carriacou and Petite doing some major infrastructure works for us on government buildings. If you visit Carriacou GT, as you noted that you'll be here on Friday, you will see a massive difference in terms of what our administrative building looks like and our Carriacou police station. Hats off to the Guyanese Defense Force. They are working really, really hard. They've done all the replacement of the roofs. They've done the electricals. They've replaced all the windows. And it's a new look for our administrative building. In a matter of weeks, we'll be able to have staff return to the administrative building in Hillsborough to continue the function of central government in terms of finance and all the different other offices, education, social development and housing, etc. So the Guyanese Defense Force even brought us in materials that we have been able to distribute throughout the communities of Carriacou and Petite to assist with the level 1 and level 2 damages in terms of the restoration of roofs throughout the communities here. So we've been able to activate aspects of our ministry. We've been able to start a bit of infrastructure work because one of our roads, which is the 16 Corners Road, that road connects the villages of Mount Royal, Mount Pleasant, Top Hill, and Bossejou to the town of Hillsborough. We've had that road compromised by Hurricane Beryl. We had some slippage, and government, through the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite.
Okay, we may have lost her there once again. It's to the point here on Classic Radio.
And then the road will be rebuilt in terms of that area. So government has not sat by and have not done nothing, since post-Hurricane Beryl for Carriacou and Petite. We've continued the construction of the hospital by road because, it's only one hospital we have on Carriacou. And that project started just before Hurricane Beryl. So the ministry, through the Public Works Division, thought that it's important to complete that road. So Mr. Stafford and his team is working very hard. The road is almost completed, and then we can start on other infrastructure works on Carriacou and Petite.
Okay, great. Let's talk a wee bit about the recovery process in terms of the electricity, water, and so forth. How was those processes taking place? How was those going so far?
At this point, GT, I would love to say that the Grenada Electricity Company, kudos to Glen.
All right. And suddenly when we get her back reconnected, we will continue that conversation. Besides that, once again, if you would, of course, start, from time to time, we do having that drop from you. Our apology to our listeners and viewers as relates to that. You could start where you come in terms of telling us about Grunlec and, of course, the folks of Nawasa in terms of how they get in the restoration of electricity and water in Carriacou.
Okay, in terms of the Grenada Electricity Company, I would like to say from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite, kudos to Mr. Wallace Collins, who is the supervisor here for Grenlec, and his team. The day after Beryl, Mr. Collins and his team was out. And I can tell you that electricity is restored on Carriacou and Petite. Not all homes have been reconnected. Over 1,500 homes have already received electricity, and we have to understand that not all homes will be reconnected because of the damages to the roof that was sustained during Hurricane Beryl. But for those persons who have taps on their roofs at the moment, Grenlec is doing temporary connections. And I also want to call out our lone electrical inspector within the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs, Miss Alberta Harvey. Miss Harvey has the hard task of ensuring that all buildings on Carriacou and Petite that have to have electricity restored, she has to inspect them before electricity can be restored. And Ms. Harvey has been going throughout the nook and cranny of Carriacou and Petite and ensuring that the inspections are done so that persons can have their electricity restored. In terms of electricity, again, while not all areas of Carriacou and Petite would have electricity, Grenlec has ensured to put in some street lights.
Okay, and as soon as she returns once again, we will continue the conversation. All right. You were talking about, you got down to a portion of talking about Carriacou or Petite in terms of restoration of electricity. You were saying that not all areas has been connected, but we got disconnected. So we lost that portion of audio there.
Yes. That is so because, we've during burial, we lost a lot of our roofs. So not all persons will be able to have electricity restored. However, Grenlec is encouraging persons that they can get temporary connections. And as I said before, in order for that to happen, we need to have the buildings inspected. So at this point, I want to call out our lone electrical inspector on the island that is attached to our ministry, Miss Alberta Harvey. She has the hard task of going to every community, the inside roads, the by roads, to ensure that these buildings are inspected before Grenlec can be connected. Can connect back your electricity. So Miss Harvey has been doing an excellent job. It is not easy after losing your own home and the roofs and everything to be out to work every day in the blistering sun. So hats off to Miss Harvey from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs. Thank you for the part that you are playing in ensuring that the restoration of electricity is an easy task. While it is not easy, but at the same time, we also have to say thank you to Carriacou, because we've had teams of electrical persons coming from the various Caribbean islands. We had Barbados, we had Trinidad, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, and so forth. And they have come to help Grenlec on the grounds to ensure that all the lines were up in a quick timing. And I must say, Grenlec is still on the ground. There today, I saw them working up at to ensure that the hospital electricity is restored, because we are working towards resumption of hospital services at the Princess Royal Hospital. So in terms of Grenlec, they're doing an excellent job on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Over 1,500 homes on Carriacou and Petite Martinique have already had electricity restoration. In terms of NAWASA has been coordinating with the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs to ensure that persons in Carriacou have access to water, because water is a critical.
Okay, and I'll be at as soon as you return, folks. Ms. Isaac, if you can hear me, once again, we drew for a break. We're going to take it, and when we come back,
and outside of that,
Ms. Isaac, one sec. Well, let's that usual disconnection we're having there from you. We drew for a break. Let's take it, and on return, we'll continue with the conversation. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us, folks. To the Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Right back after the break. Don't touch your dial.
Carriacou Beach Resort, Caswell Stationery Services, Real Value IG Supermarket, and Assistance Paints, proud partners of the 18th Annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Saturday, October 26th, Grenada Trade Center, 7:30 p.m.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GPN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GPN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gpn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Is more than just a storm. So when a hurricane is coming, please prepare your home. You can do this by having an emergency kit ready, covering your windows, trimming your trees, clearing your gutters, reinforcing your garage doors, installing a generator, and knowing your evacuation routes. Failing to do so can lead to immense damage to your home. Thank you, and please stay safe this hurricane season.
food odyssey like no other. Getting the most out of cruising. St. Lucia's Peaks. Boosted businesses. Serving up the best. A great place to rest. Another take on shrimp. It's all next on this station.
Welcome back to our listeners and viewers this morning to the point here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. Let me say welcome back to, of course, my guest this morning, representing, of course, the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs. That's Ms. Deanna Isaac. Ms. Isaac, welcome back once again, and let's continue the discussion. Before we took the break, you were discussing in terms of the restoration of the water supply and so forth from the folks of Nawasa. Let's continue on that conversation for us this morning, please.
Okay.
And suddenly she will be back with us shortly. Folks, we apologize for that. You know, the issue of our connection, of course, with the city of Carriacou. And folks, I guess you will understand the reasons why we're having that problem. And I certainly hope it will settle soon. Ms. Isaac, you may continue. Yes, I can see that smile on your face. I know. Go right ahead.
Right. The National Water and Sewage Authority has partnered with the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government to ensure that water is accessible to the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique following Hurricane Beryl. So throughout the months from July to August and continuing, they have been providing 600 gallons of water, free water to households in Carriacou.
And we have lost her again.
Water is dropped off for them. Also, to assist within the communities, the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government has set up various water distribution points, utilizing what we call black tanks. So in different communities on the island, these black tanks are set up and they are refilled by Nawasa whenever the supplies run low. So we are ensuring that water continues to be accessible for the people of Carriacou. On Petite Martinique, Nawasa has continued to provide water services there. On Petite Martinique, because they are covered by the Nawasa's water distribution system.
All right. And as soon as we connect once again, of course, our apology once again for the connection issues that we experienced when, of course, with Ms. Isaac out of the Sister Isle of Carriacou.
Have lost their roofs. So the collection of water will be an issue. So the ministry, the government of Grenada, has ensured that water continues to be provided for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, because after Beryl, we had Samaritan's Purse on the ground, and we want to also say a big thank you to Samaritan's Purse, because they have set up desalination points at different communities on the island. So they had one in Hillsborough, they had one in Harveyville, and afterwards they branched out into different communities on the island because the need for
It's Classic Radio, GBN TV. Folks, we have with us this morning representing the Sister Isle of Carriacou.
The provision of water.
All right.
Yes.
Ms. Isaac, once again, of course, our apology to our listeners and viewers in reference to the connection problem that we're having this morning. I want you to talk to you a wee bit, and you could tell us, the folks in Grenada here on the mainland, in terms of the support that the folks in Carriacou and Petite Martinique are receiving, especially in terms of the farmers for Carriacou and Petite Martinique. There's been some support that's been offered. Let's hear about that. In terms of, I know you spoke about the water tank that's been put around the island by Nawasa, but there's also been the support that's been offered, especially to farmers who need that supply. Tell us a wee bit about that, please. And we have lost connection there a wee bit with her. Yes, go right ahead, please.
Yes. Okay, in terms of the support for the agriculture sector on Carriacou and Petite Martinique, I am happy to report that the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs over the last 2 weeks were distributing black tanks to the farming community of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Today, the senior agricultural officer is expected to go over to Petite Martinique to do the distribution of water tanks over on Petite Martinique. However, on Carriacou, we've started the distribution about 2 weeks ago. We've partnered with Rotoplastics out of Trinidad and Tobago, and they've supplied us with 500 black tanks, which we are distributing across Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We are also in the process of procuring fencing materials for our farming community, because we know that the agriculture sector is important. We are in the rainy season, and we want to ensure that our farmers, even though it's a bit late, that they can still have some time to put some crops into the ground, and we can get some food. We are looking out for our farmers and our fishermen, because we understand the important role that they play in the economy of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And I must say that the assessment was done by the Division of Agriculture and submitted to the Ministry of Agriculture, Grenada, to ensure that our farmers and fishermen also receive the direct income source.
Okay. And of course, it's been a fantastic this morning. Of course,
passage of Hurricane Beryl. Many of our fishermen lost their boats, and those that did not lose, they suffered severe damages to their vessels. And at the moment, the government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, is also assisting with the clearing of vessels that were sunk at the oyster bed in Carriacou. They hired a vessel out of Trinidad, an engineering company, and they have a vessel here now working on the clearing of the oyster beds as well, because our fisher folks and our boats owners have been using the mang, as we call it, as a means of safety grounds when hurricanes are announced and about to hit our islands. But during burial, the boats in that area suffered severely. So the Ministry of Climate Resilience and the Environment and Renewable Energy is working together with the Grenada Post Authority to have that area cleaned. And a list of boats that were already cleared out were printed in our local newspapers and posted on social media. So persons should check the Grenada Post Authority page, the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique page, to see that notice from the Grenada Post Authority, to see if your vessel is listed on that list that was submitted from the Post Authority.
Okay, great. Let's talk a wee bit in terms of the housing. We know, of course, let's address some of the issues there that is still taking place, and what is going on with the housing situation in Carriacou as it stands right now. If you can share some information.
Can you repeat?
I wanted you to, of course, list some of the in terms of the housing, situation in Carriacou right now. Tell us what is taking place. Has the process started somewhere or the other? Of course, share some information as it relates to that for us, please.
Okay, in terms of housing, we know that our housing stock was about 90% to 95% affected following Hurricane Beryl on July 1st. So in order to assist persons, the first thing that the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs did was to give some material support through the materials that was donated by the government and people of Guyana to assist persons.
Classic Radio, GBN TV, folks. It's to the point this morning. And of course, our apology this morning for the connection issues we have. Of course, Ms. Isaac, you may continue on the of course, the point you were making as relates into housing.
Right. So as I was saying, the first thing in terms of housing assistance that was done was the distribution of roofing material that was made available to us thanks to the people and government of Guyana. So over 100 plus family on Carriacou received roofing materials from the Guyanese. And at present, the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs and local government is giving some housing assistance to persons on Carriacou and Petite. On Carriacou, already over 300 households have benefited from those housing materials, and on Petite, just over 40 plus. There is a criteria. How do you access hurricane assistance to get yourself back on your feet? First, you have to get an estimate done by a contractor. Then you need to go to a hardware store and get a billhead. And following that, you make your submission to the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs and local government, and then it's approved. You're called in, you're given a letter. However, one of the things I would like to say here today, GT, is that we have to have a bit of patience because everything is a process. It does not mean when you come in with your estimate and your billhead that you will get approval right away. Because remember, we're dealing with over thousands of households in Carriacou and Petite that have suffered damages during Hurricane Beryl. So we're asking our people of Carriacou and Petite to be
Okay, as soon as we make that reconnection, she certainly will continue with our explanation. Go right ahead, please. Go right ahead.
Yes. So we are giving some assistance in terms of persons who have suffered level 1 and level 2 damages. Also, GT, we are working very closely with an NGO out of Trinidad and Tobago, Hands That Serve. So at present, they are the construction, the foundation for 27 prefab houses are being constructed on Carriacou. People may ask, what about Petite? Yes, a request was made to have some of those prefab houses be built on Petite. However, the organization, the NGO, expressed to us that the logistics to get the prefab houses into Petite will be quite a lot. So they will not be able to bring any of the prefab houses to Petite.
Okay. And as soon as Ms. Isaac, of course, reconnects, we will certainly continue with our discussions. Go right ahead, Ms. Isaac. Go right ahead.
We have 7 houses under construction in different parts of Carriacou. We are starting shortly in Petite. So Petite is not being left out of the recovery assistance that is taking place. We are ensuring that all persons on Carriacou and Petite who are going to be beneficiaries will definitely benefit. The government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs, again have cleared lands in Dumfries for the development of a new housing scheme. We presently have 3 contractors on site, and they're going to be constructing 9 of those houses for us, for the persons who we consider vulnerable. So we are working steadily at the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Affairs to ensure that persons get the necessary assistance.
Classic Radio, GBN TV, folks, we drew for a break, and when we come back, we will certainly continue with our conversation with Ms. Isaac as soon as we return. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch your dial.
Carriacou Beach Resort, Caswell Stationery Services, Real Value IG Supermarket, and Assistant Spain's proud partners of the 18th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Saturday, October 26th, Grenada Trade Center, 7:30 p.m.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GPN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GPN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gpn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
more than just a storm. So when a hurricane is coming, please prepare your home. You can do this by having an emergency kit ready, covering your windows, trimming your trees, clearing your gutters, reinforcing your garage doors, installing a generator, and knowing your evacuation routes. Failing to do so can lead to immense damage to your home. Thank you, and please stay safe this hurricane season.
Coming up, a food odyssey like no other. Getting the most out of cruising. St. Lucia's Peaks. Boosted businesses. Serving up the best. A great place to rest. Another take on shrimp. It's all next on this station.
This guy was driving way over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a lot over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a little over the speed limit. Look at the damage.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers of Classic Radio and GBN TV. Those of you listening in the sister route of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, also let me say good morning to you. Let's go back over to Ms. Isaac and say good morning to her once again. Certainly hope our connection will, of course, be still in this segment where we could have that good communication with you this morning. You were making some interesting points before the break. I certainly hope you could repeat, because I'm sure there are listeners and viewers who will be love to hear this particular information as it relates to the housing assistance that's been offered. If you would like to continue, of course, throwing out those points that you were making or sharing information that you were sharing in relation to that.
Yes. I was saying that government is not only giving material support to persons on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. They've given a number of tax incentives to allow persons to build back better. So we have the removal of VAT, the waiving of if you're importing your materials from overseas. You also have the waiving of the VAT, the CEC, and the custom duties. Persons are allowed to bring in your furnishings. For example, a household is entitled to one refrigerator, one washing machine, a microwave, and etc. So government is not just giving you that material support. The tax incentives are also there. All you have to do is come into the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government. The Burial Secretariat is operated from there. We are located at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center on Lower Main Street. You can come in between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's a form you need to fill out. We're encouraging persons when they come to fill in the form to also have your billheads and other invoices available so that we can have it attached, because that is very critical for us to pass on to the concessions desk so you can get your necessary concession. And government has also, we still have ongoing the free burial initiative as well for all households on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. So we're not just giving material support. From next year, 2025, we will have a waiver of your property taxes as well. So government is looking at everything in a holistic manner for the recovery of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. So we just wanted to highlight that, GT,
all right,
in terms of not just material support, but the tax incentives for Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
And certainly I know the residents of Carriacou and Petite Martinique certainly will be happy to hear that. I want you to share some information also in terms of business support in Carriacou. We know there are lots of businesses in Carriacou, and understand that the government and the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs are also affiliated with that. Tell us about the business support in Carriacou, how the business will be supported post-Hurricane Beryl.
From day one after Hurricane Beryl, Prime Minister Honorable Dickon Mitchell and his cabinet noted the importance of ensuring that the business community on Carriacou and Petite Martinique gets going as quickly as possible. So one of the first things that they did was to come to Carriacou and Petite Martinique and host a meeting with the business community here to hear from them what are their needs post.
And I would certainly love for all to hear of that information that will be shared this morning there by, of course, Ms. Isaac.
We have seen... Hello?
Yeah, you can continue. You are reconnected again. Go right ahead.
Right. So following those two meetings with Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team, we've now seen the startup of the Grenada Development Bank post-burial hurricane support business activation for...
Okay. And we'll be back with her shortly. Classic Radio, GBN TV. It's to the point.
They're also located at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center in Hillsborough, the hub of where the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique is functioning. Inland Revenue is also in that building as well. So persons who are interested in getting the grant and soft loan from the GDB, they are located in Carriacou. On Monday and Tuesday, an officer visited Petite Martinique. So Petite Martinique is not being left out. I will leave the GDB to give further details on how persons can access the loans and grant. The soft loan and grant. I will leave that up to GDB. But also another critical point that I've missed in terms of the rebuilding, because I know in a lot of people's minds, housing is the main issue for Carriacou and Petite Martinique while we exercise some patience. So physical planning and development authority, what was previously known as physical planning, is also assisting with the rebuilding process in Carriacou, because we want to ensure, and Petite Martinique, we want to ensure that people build back better and that they follow the building code. So physical planning and development authority is on the grounds in Carriacou. If any person need any assessment done by Planning and Development Authority, they just need to visit the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs. There's also a form to fill out. So the form will act as a guide to the officers from physical planning as to where they have to go, what sort of damages, and they will come and assist you with your rebuilding process. So also, if you need anything done through physical planning, you can call them on 440-2471, but they also have a base at the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs.
Okay, tell us about, of course, we saw sometime, was it just around the start of the month of October, we had, of course, the reopening of school. Tell us about that process in Carriacou, how is that, and how is it ongoing? Of course, any concerns in relation to it still also. Tell us about the reopening of school in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Well, I'm assuming not Petite Martinique, but more or less Carriacou, I would say more or less.
Well, everything we do, we must remember Petite Martinique.
We have to.
We have to.
Right.
So in terms of schools reopening in Carriacou and Petite Martinique, on the September 30th, we had all schools reopening. Previously, Bishop's College, I know, started classes for its exit form for Form 5s to get the children in gear in preparation for CXC. So they've started weeks before anything about with the official reopening. So schools have started on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. To give the schools some support and to help the parents as well, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs are providing free breakfast and free lunch for all students of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We know that there are some issues, but one thing I must say, GT, that even those schools that have not suffered major damages, we have been able to restore, put back in new roofs. They were properly sanitized to ensure that when the children re-enter into school, that they're entering into a clean environment. I want to say thank you to the principals and staff that have worked diligently to ensure that we are at this stage. We know that Dover Government School was completely destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. So the process to restart Dover Government School has its challenges. So they're placed on the 10th. Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Honorable Tevin Andrews, based on feedback and concerns and suggestions, posted on social media and verbally from persons, have met with the staff and principal yesterday. He's actually going to be meeting with the PTA of Dover Government School today to listen to see how best we can work out things to ensure that the children and staff can operate in a more comfortable environment. Mount Pleasant Government School is in the same situation as Dover, except that they've lost their roof and most of their furnishings. However, they have settled quite a bit. The principal and his staff has been working very, very hard to ensure that the education of the children at Mount Pleasant Government School continue. And all the other schools, they seem to have settled down pretty nicely. We still have other issues that will arise from time to time. And I want to say at this point that the rebuilding and recovery of Carriacou and Petite Martinique cannot be done by the government of Grenada alone. We're encouraging persons out there from the private sector, the NGOs, international, regional agencies to continue to work with us. Because when we visited one of the schools and they noted that the entire food and nutrition lab needs furnishings. They're in need of a stove. That's Bishop's College. They're in need of a refrigerator and other implements to help the children get prepared for CXC. So GT, at this point, I want to say that we have to collaborate. And collaboration means that the private and the NGOs working together with central government, with the government of Grenada, with the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs to get certain things happen on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We need the support of all. We need the patience of our persons on Carriacou and Petite Martinique to help us as well. If you have any concerns, any suggestions as to how that we can do things better, we are open for that, GT. Because we do not want to walk this recovery road alone. Because if we do it alone, we will have too many mistakes. We want to do it together. It's a collaboration.
And that is lovely to hear that from you. Wait, one subject matter we haven't touched on yet, of course, in our discussion for the morning is healthcare. The healthcare sector in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Tell us how that is going. We know of you mentioned earlier when you were talking about the electricity restoration. You mentioned that Glen is taking care of that. How is the healthcare situation in Carriacou as it stands right now? The folks, is there any concerns as relations to it? How is things in terms of healthcare in Carriacou and Petite Martinique as it stands right now?
GT, from July 2nd, healthcare services continue to be provided for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. 4 of our main clinics did suffer damages, and we are still continuing to provide the district medical services at the Leicester Health Center. The hospital, as you know, lost its roof, but within a matter of weeks, that was restored. Shelter Solutions guys were on the ground, and they have done a marvelous job in terms of restoring the Princess Royal Hospital roof. Following that, the healthcare team, matron, the administrator, all the staff attached to the Princess Royal Hospital, they have been at the hospital cleaning, doing deep cleaning to ensure that hospital services can resume. Because following the passage of Hurricane Beryl, the hospital services moved to the Hillsborough Smart Health Center in town. However, very soon, hopefully on the weekend, hospital services will be restored in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. So we still have to do work on Mount Pleasant Clinic, Leicester Health Center and Windward Medical Center. But the Ministry of Health is working, and I know that very soon that people can see some sort of action in terms of repairs to the different clinics, including Petite Martinique. But hospital services will soon be restored on Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Thank you so much, Ms. Isaac. We drew for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We, of course, will open the lines to our listeners and viewers. I know there may listeners and viewers out there who may want to ask you a question or two as relates to what's really going on in Carriacou still. Maybe something that we have missed and that they may have a bit of a concern about when we do come back after the break. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after the break.
Carriacou Beach Resort, Caswell Stationery Services, Real Value IG Supermarket, and Sissons Paints, proud partners of the 18th Annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Saturday, October 26th, Grenada Trade Center, 7:30 p.m.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GPN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GPN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gpn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Coming up, a food odyssey like no other. Getting the most out of cruising. St. Lucia's Peaks. Boosted businesses. Serving up the best. A great place to rest. Another take on shrimp. It's all next on this station.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and the viewers this morning here on Classic Radio, and those of you viewing via GBN TV, those of you via social media platforms, welcome back. It's to the point. We're of course speaking to Ms. Isaac out of the Sister Isle of Carriacou, being part of the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs. We're talking to her this morning. Ms. Isaac, welcome back. As mentioned before the break, I did mention that we're going to allow our listeners and viewers to ask questions or two as relates to Carriacou and Petite Martinique. They may have, of course, questions that as relates to other issues that we may not have spoken about, and maybe you could, if it's possible, you can of course respond. Let's take our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings and greetings to your guest. I trust that your guest can hear me. Can you confirm that?
Yes, it is possible that my guest can hear you. Ms. Isaac, could you hear the caller?
I'm just starting to hear. We lost connectivity for a while.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Very well. I've heard some things here this morning for the portion of the program, and they do conflict with two reports coming on a very prominent newspaper in this here country called The New Today over the past 2 weeks, consecutive reports, by a writer called, quote-unquote, Sarah Chase. Can your guest confirm whether or not she read these articles? And if there is anything there that she can confirm or deny? Just to clear up, because you know everything, all stories have two sides, as they say. Has she read the articles, and can she confirm or deny any of the allegations / revelations that came out in those articles? For what it's worth. Thank you very much and have a nice day. What did you say?
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning. Yes. So, Ms. Isaac, I know we lost connection there with you for a few bit. I certainly hope you heard the question that was stated by the caller. I'm not sure he's referring to articles on the Green News today that was written by, of course, a political journalist. If you read it, and if you can confirm or deny anything that was mentioned in the article.
I have, GT, from a PR perspective, I try my best as possible to follow any article coming out from Carriacou and Petite Martinique that is written about Carriacou and Petite Martinique and Grenada by extension. So I have read the article done by Ms. Sarah Chase, and all that I would like to say is that based on what I've highlighted here today, that is what is happening on Carriacou and Petite Martinique in terms of the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs by extension.
All right, we may have lost her there again in terms of a connection issue that we are experiencing this morning. And as soon as she returns, we will entertain another caller, and she will be back with us shortly. All right, we have lost you there once again, Ms. Isaac, but we do have another caller. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Good morning, GT, and good morning to Miss Isaac. First, I want to say thanks to Miss Isaac for taking time from her busy schedule so that she can educate us as to what is going on in Carriacou. It is important that we have a first-hand information for somebody that is there. contrary to what, people are saying, especially those of the opposition forces that somehow think it's okay to push their negative agenda. And I'm quite happy that I'm enlightened on a lot of the situations. And it is good for Carriacou and Grenada. I especially want to say thank you to the Caribbean forces that came out and helped us immediately after the storm. I look forward to working with them, and we too as mainland people have a part to play. We went up, we helped clean. Thank God the bushes are going back, and the roofs are coming on one by one. We will not be able to do it all together, but we are indeed grateful for the help. And to the naysayers, please, this doesn't do anything good for Grenada. We must be grateful for the help. And I say kudos to the people of Carriacou. Be strong. God is with you. Thank you, Mrs. Isaac. Thank you, GBM.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, good morning. You're welcome. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, GP, and good morning, Miss Isaac. Miss Isaac, you give a good scope of the things that are happening in Carriacou, and I'm very, very proud of you. And I don't know why they had you in the back, man. They should have bring you up front, because you give some valid information. And these are the things that people want to know, because usually on Tuesday, my friend GT sometimes have Mr. Cox, and Mr. Cox give us a totally different picture of Carriacou. But today you're laying it out, and I'm glad you're doing it. We don't need Evan to come there, but we could have you coming out and giving the valid information. Two things I want you to clarify for me today. We've been hearing on the NNP station, they're talking about the children is under tent and it's so hot, and and the children is very uncomfortable. So maybe you could give a little rundown on that, what's going on in the tent, because I remember going to McDonald College. We used to be under the big tree. We used to even be going to Anglican school. We used to be in the cemetery, in the sun. As long as we learning something, that was important to us. And also, there is a lady by the name of Miss Madison again, who is giving information. She living under, she step and everything. They don't get in the help and stuff. And you know who I'm talking about, these people. So I'd like you to debunk all these things and them, and tell us and give us the true things that are happening. And I'm very, very proud of you. And I will be talking to Tevin and tell him to send you more often on Wednesday.
Thank you, caller. Have a good morning yourself. 435-204. And in response to the caller, and some of the question that he did ask, if you can, in terms of clarifications.
In terms of the tents, as I mentioned earlier.
And there goes our connection there again. And as soon as it returns, of course,
Pleasant Government School. So, as I mentioned, Minister Honorable Tevin Andrews visited Dover yesterday to look at the issues that were raised by the union, and is also meeting with the PTA of Dover today. And we know that because we've lost almost all of our trees, and our trees are just starting to grow back, the heat can be a lot to bear. So the schools will be provided with fans to help them underneath the tent. I know for Mount Pleasant, they've received a donation from a corporate citizen, and we want to say thank you to Dollarman store for providing Mount Pleasant Government School with a fan to help them with the heat. And if more corporate citizens can help us as we navigate these times to bring a bit of comfort to our students as they learn in a new environment. For our students, for Carriacou and Petite, for these two schools, it's a new environment. So if the corporate sector is willing to partner with us to help the education sector in Carriacou and Petite, we will truly appreciate it. You can call the schools directly, you can call the ministry and pledge your support. And I want to say, GT, in terms of TAMCC, that's something I have missed, that the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Education, with corporate partners, have ensured that the students from Carriacou and Petite can continue their tertiary education. Each month, the students that are from Carriacou and those at Nulo as well are given monetary support. Thanks to La Luna, the CPL, and there was one other company. Sorry, I forgot. But there's 3 donors that have contributed towards the ensuring that the tertiary education for students of Carriacou and Petite Martinique continue on mainland Grenada. They were given a one-off payment of $3,700, and every month to help them with their accommodation, their meals, and their transportation, they are given $2,000. The other question he asked, can you recall it for me, please?
He was asking a question that relates to, of course, issues where individuals are talking about their accommodations, who are living on the houses.
Okay, in terms of the relief items.
Yes.
GT, after noting some of the concerns coming from the distribution of the relief items, NADMA, together with the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, set up 7 distribution points on Carriacou and Petite Martinique, utilizing local volunteers. So we listed them. We went out doing PA announcements throughout Carriacou, and also we went out to all the communities. There were days I myself, as the public relation officer, when I go out and hear the cries of the people, would say to Ms. Date, who is our community program officer for NADMA, we pack up those vans and we'll go to the inner roads and bring the items to the people. Yes, you may miss somebody, but the distribution points were all open. It is for everyone on Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Petite Martinique had their warehouse set up. CDIMA and CDRU, that is a CARICOM Disaster Relief Unit, gave us massive support. The soldiers were here. They were driving the trucks to go to some of the communities who we thought were left out, who may not be on the main road. So, and the World Food Program representatives came in. They set up the 2 warehouses that we still have operating at the port of Tyrrell Bay, and persons are still free. There are some items there. The people came in from Huddersfield recently. They are going to different distribution points in the communities and delivering items. A lot of relief items came into Carriacou and Petite Martinique, and we did not stock it up at the warehouse. We ensured that the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique benefited. For those who have not, we are sorry if we've missed you, but the distribution points were open to everyone to access it. And if there are persons out there who are still willing to give us, continue providing aid, relief aid for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, we are open. You can call us at the ministry, 443-6026. You can call me at the PRO on 457-1308, because only our ministry line is functional at the moment, but you can get us via cell phone as well. So any person who think they have a need and...
All right, we have lost her there again. And Ms. Isaac, as soon as she comes back, we may have to take...
Have lost their jobs.
All right. I want to thank you so much. Of course, despite our connection issues this morning, you did, of course, send out a whole lot of information. A lot of clarification was also presented this morning, and we want to thank you so much. Hopefully, we could have you back on the show when connection is even better, that we could dispel much more information that we may have missed this morning. I want to wish you all the best, of course, for yourself and the folks in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs. And I certainly hope everyone will have a great day. And all the best. And thanks for being on the program this morning.
Thank you so much, GT, for allowing us that opportunity. We definitely will be back to keep providing the public with the necessary information from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs. And my closing words to the viewers, listeners out there, whether you're in Grenada, regionally, or in the diaspora, we want you to collaborate with us. We're asking our people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique to be patient as well.
And we lost it there again. Once again, folks, that's what we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point this morning here on Classic Radio and HBN TV. I want to thank once again Ms. Isaac over in Carriacou for sharing information. Join us again for another edition of To The Point. That's where we say goodbye. Goodbye, folks.